We're live now.
Thank you. Good evening, members and members of the public watching at home. Welcome to the Ernest Bailey Charity Committee for November 2020. This is being live streamed through YouTube. But there will come a point in the evening where it's necessary, I'm afraid, to exclude members of the public and members of the press to deal with sensitive matters. When that time comes, I will give the appropriate announcement. Thank you. Could we have any apologies, please?
Yeah, I've just received apologies from Councillor Butler.
Thank you very much indeed. On to approval of the minutes, item 2, please. Everybody should have had a copy, I think, of the minutes within the circular that came round. So, if it's okay, could I ask for a show of hands? Unless anybody's got anything to raise within the minutes beforehand. So all those that say that the minutes are a true record, please raise your hand. Physically or digitally, I don't mind which.
That appears to be unanimous, Chair. Councillor Cruz is just arriving, Chair.
Okay, we'll give him a moment. Thank you. Evening, Councillor Cruz.
Good evening. How are we doing? You all right?
Good, thank you. We've just done items 1 and 2, just approved the minutes. We're just moving on to interests. So I'll go through you all if that's all right, and just ask if you've any interest to declare, because there are sometimes some within the Ernest Bailey Charity Committee. So I'll start with Councillor Wayne.
No, I've none. Thank you.
Councillor Flitter. You're unmuted, you can speak.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Councillor Atkin.
None, Chair.
Councillor Purdy.
None, Chair.
Councillor Sue Burfoot.
Just wandering around, I've given county council money to the Riverside Network, or County Council Community Leadership Fund.
Okay. Could you mute your microphone again, please, Councillor Burfoot? I think you might, if you're close together, it might be best if just one microphone's on.
Okay.
At any one time. Thank you. Councillor Pawley.
No, I've got nothing.
Thank you. Councillor Martin Burfoot.
No, nothing.
Thank you. Councillor Cruz.
No, nothing.
And Councillor Statham.
None, Chair.
Thank you all very much. If I've missed anybody, because I am drifting between screens, as you might imagine, just shout up. Thank you. Item 4 then, the statement of financial position for this year. Over to Karen Henriksen, please, to let us know we've gone on.
Thank you, Chair. Well, as the report explains, this year's not been a very good one in terms of the investment interest that the fund normally earns. So in previous years, we've managed to get a rate of return of about 1% on our investment interest. But this year, due to COVID, investment rates have slumped. So that means that this current year, we're only expected to receive about £1,000 for the investment income. As members will recall, our usual policy is that we only give out in grants the amount of funds that we that reflects the level of interest we receive. However, I would remind members that you did underspend last year, and you are free to award whatever amount of grants you'd like to from the pot. So that's the main thing I'd like to comment on in the report. Otherwise, the figures for the outturn of 2019-20 are there. They came out pretty much as we expected. So the recommendation asks you to approve that. It asks you to approve that we continue to invest the charity monies with Derbyshire Dales District Council, albeit now at a reduced rate. And that also we're asking you to note that we haven't been able to make any progress on the review this year due to other pressures, which I'm sure you'll all be aware of. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Karen. Councillor Atkin.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. I'll move the recommendation as set out in the report.
Thank you. Does that find a seconder? Councillor Purdy.
I've got my hand up.
Oh, Councillor Pawley, thank you.
Yeah. I'd like to ask a question, if that's all right, please, Chair.
Of course.
Karen, with the amount that's gradually seems to be getting smaller and smaller because of the interest rates each year, I'm wondering if there's any way we could increase, we would be allowed to increase the capital that's sitting there for the interest to be earned on. What I was thinking of was whether we could, if we've got money left over from the local projects fund, put it into this capital fund to be used for, particularly for people who are suffering.
My response to that would be that would need the approval of council, Derbyshire Dales District Council, to transfer its funds into this project. So we would need all members, not just the members from this area of benefit, to approve that. But there's nothing in principle that prevents a council from making a donation to a charity.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pawley. Councillor Martin Barefoot, you've got your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering, in view of the fact that there's so little money available, only £1,000 or so, when we actually write to the applicants who've been successful for £50 or whatever, can we remind them of the total amount of money that's available? Because you notice Bonsall Village Hall Committee, I think, wanted £500. Well, that would have been absolutely ludicrous with the total only being 1,000. So I think it'd be fair to remind these organisations that there's very little money available, and it's not multi-thousands as they may think.
Karen, are you able to answer that?
I'm sure Emma could do that. I just remind members, as I just said, it is in your gift to give more than the £1,000, but obviously that will diminish the amount available for future years.
Thank you. I've no further hands up. I think Councillor Purdy seconded the motion. If, sorry, Councillor Martin Barefoot, you put your hand back up. No.
As requested.
I beg your pardon, sorry.
I was lowering my hand as requested on the screen on the
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I'll second it, Chair, if you want it seconded. I don't know if we've got that far yet.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. It's been moved and seconded. If we could go to the vote, please.
Okay, as I read your name out, if you could indicate whether you're for, against, or abstain. Councillor Atkin.
For.
Councillor Barefoot, Martin Barefoot.
For.
Councillor Sue Barefoot.
For. Sorry.
Councillor Cruz.
For.
Councillor Flitter.
For.
Councillor Pawley.
For.
Councillor Purdy.
For.
Councillor Salt.
For.
Councillor Statham.
For.
And Councillor Wayne.
For, thank you.
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Flitter, I can see you've got your hand up. Was that to vote, or did you want to say something?
That was to vote last time.
Thank you. I can put it down from here for you. Thank you. So on to item 5, part of the meat of the evening, if you like. In previous years, we've done an exclusion of public and press at an early stage, but we've been in the luxury of knowing whether any public and press were present. Because this matter and this committee is going out via YouTube, we'll deal with all matters that we can in front of the public first before we make any exclusions. I aim, if it's okay with everybody, to simply work through the list from number 1 to number 20, and any councillor that has any issue, anything to raise with it, just raise your hand or speak up, and we'll go from there. I think what I will do is probably do them in block at the end, because if we resolve what we need to resolve on them, because otherwise we're going to have a count of every name, every single item, which I think would quite time consuming. So we'll deal them one at a time, and once they're settled, we'll move on to the next. And then when we've done the ones that don't appear in the sensitive order, we can vote on them in block, if that's okay with everybody. So I'll start with number 1, Bonsall Village Hall Committee to improve the slope ramp. The suggested grant there, out of the 500 asked for, if none, the comments are that it's part of a wider improvement to the village hall. Does anybody have anything to comment on that one? Councillor Flitter, you've got your hand up.
Yes, Chair. I'm a bit disgruntled, actually, that none of these groups have got a figure at the side or nothing suggested. And I feel we're going in the wrong direction. I would have thought that Bonsall Village Hall was a good scheme for the many that need it. And if it's part of a wider scheme, well, all well and good to them. I would have liked something to have gone to this group.
Thank you. Emma, I can just see you've got your hand up there. Is there something you want to add?
Yes, it was really difficult because we had 20 applicants, and the reason that I mean, obviously these are suggestions and it's up to you how much you give to these groups, but I felt that the organisations who had applied, just about all of them would be able to apply for other grants, such as Local Projects Fund and Better Derbyshire Dales Fund, whereas the individuals were unable to apply for really any other grant. That was, and I picked up that from committee last year, that the general feeling was that, you know, we look at more favourably upon individuals because of this reason. But obviously,
thank you very much.
Obviously, it's up to you what you decide.
Councillor Purdy, you've got your hand up next.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'll leave it to other members to vote because it's in my ward. I would just add for the members' benefit that this is part of a wider scheme, and one who used to have to go up and down that very steep path up to the village hall, and particularly at night, it's quite dangerous. So I'm sure that Bonsall Parish Council would welcome any monies.
Thank you, Councillor Purdy. I think Councillor Statham had his hand up.
Sorry, Chair, it wasn't me.
Okay, I do apologise. Councillor Pawley.
Press the wrong button. Yeah, I was going to say this before we got everything changed because of the amount changing that we got available to give away. But I find it rather odd that we couldn't give any money at all to the new entrance, which was going to make a real difference to people in wheelchairs and with disabilities. It's very difficult. I'm not sure they'd even be able to get up there at the moment as it stands. And that, yeah, we would give certain amounts of money to guides to buy crayons, and at Caldwell Mill to buy outdoor baking materials. I think we need to think it through a little bit more next year. That's all. That's my comment. I won't interfere in the decision of the committee. I won't be commenting on the decision of the committee on Bonsall Village Hall.
Thank you, Councillor Pawley. Just remind any member of the committee, you're more than welcome to suggest an amount to any of the applicants, And, you know, I'm happy to have it seconded and put it to a show of hands within this part, and then we'll vote properly once we've agreed everything at the end. So, Councillor Sue Barefoot, you're the next one with your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Just when Emma spoke about being able to apply to other sources, will she actually write to some of these organisations if they don't get anything tonight? Because I would like you to mention the Community Leadership Fund from the County Council. But to do that, they would have to do that within the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Councillor Barefoot. Councillor Flitter, you've got your hand back up.
Yes, you invited members to put an amount forward if they wish to. I'm going to suggest that we give Bonsall £150 and leave it.
Thank you, Councillor Flitter. Does that find a seconder? Councillor Wayne, are you indicating to second that? Thank you. What I'm going to do is just ask for a physical show of hands, please, which I will count. And once we've done that, we'll go for those against it and those abstaining. We'll make a note of whether it's passed in favour, and at the end, we'll do a vote on block, if that's okay with everybody. So those in favour of increasing the grant to Bonsall Village Hall Committee to £150, show of hands, please. Thank you. And those against? Thank you. And anybody abstaining? As I understand, that's carried all but one against, the rest in favour. Thank you. Moving on to item 2, Cornwall Mill Trust. Does anybody have anything to say on that one? Councillor Flitter, is that your hand still up?
Sorry.
No problem. I can put it down for you.
Yeah, please.
Councillor Martin Burth, no. Sorry, there's hands up and they keep disappearing. Councillor Atkin, I can see you've definitely got your hand up.
Yeah, Chair, I'm quite happy at keeping Caldwell's at 0.
Okay. No representations on. No, sorry, Councillor Martin Barefoot.
I'll second that.
You just, when you do raise your hand, you just press raise your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may suggest, I understand councillors Barefoot live together, but they need to be separated slightly more because they're right next to each other, which is why we got the echo from Sue and Martin when they speak. So
it is going around all the speakers.
You can't play footsie, you two. You'll have to separate a little bit more because it's a reverberation from your microphones and your speakers.
We've got problems and we can't.
So please don't take anything from that. I'm just suggesting if you move further apart from each other, we might get some resolution.
Thank you. Thank you, members. On items where there is a proposal for that nothing else happens, so it stays as it is, unless anybody has a contrary opinion, then I'm not going to take that to the vote because that just stays as suggested on the paper, if that's okay with everybody. Please shout up if you think that's wrong. So on to Cromford Playgroup.
Nothing for them.
There's nothing suggested for them. Does anybody have anything to say? Can't see that anybody does, so we'll leave that one as it is. Thank you. Item number 4. The Railway Trust are looking for £2,800.
It's been withdrawn, Chair, I believe.
Oh, I do apologise. I'm working off the paper and I didn't cross it out. My apologies. Item 5 then, Northwood and Tinkersley, they play to buy a defibrillator. You'll see the note that First Richmond have provided one for residents to access at all times in any event. So does anybody have anything to raise in respect of that? Got to have eyes in the back of your head when you're looking at this thing, I'll tell you. No, we'll move on. Second Matlock Guides. The stationery and crafts. Does anybody have anything to raise in respect of that one? Councillor Sue Burfoot.
Yeah. Much as I actually welcome all the work that any guides do in any area, and this is obviously in our area, but I do feel that given that we're so limited on money this year, that I can't distinguish between them and some of the other ones that are being offered nothing. So I'm going to recommend 0, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much. I've put your hand down for you. Does anybody else have any more representations on that one? No. Thank you. We'll move on to item 7, Matlock First Responders. Any representations? I see some people addressing. Councillor Martin Barefoot.
Yes, I'd like to propose that we offer this some grants to this particular organisation. They're a fantastic small band of people who do an amazing amount of work in looking at or responding to accidents in the town and so on, and people who take ill suddenly. So we've had personal experience of somebody, a friend of ours, who was treated by them very well a couple of years ago. So I'd like to propose £100.
Thank you, Councillor Barefoot. Does that find a seconder? You just put your hand up in the front of the screen, would you please, if you do? Oh, Councillor Flitter, thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you again if you agree that the Matlock First Responders should receive a grant of £100. Unless anybody has anything to say to the contrary first, and I will just give you a chance in case. Sorry, Councillor Atkin, do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. When you look at the list, you see the total cost for the project. They don't seem to have raised any funds already, whereas most of the other applications have already got something in. So that's just something to bear in mind. I mean, I know it might be a worthwhile cause, but, you know, sometimes you have to put something in the pot to get something else. Thank you, Chair. Thank you,
Councillor Atkin. Doesn't look like there's any more comments, so I'm just going to go for a show of hands to those who agree that the first responders should receive £100 in this round. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those against? Just 2 against. Any abstentions that I've missed? No. That's carried then. We'll vote on that at the end. Thank you, members. Number 8, Riverside Network, refurbishment of food bank.
I've got a question. I put my hand up for a question.
Of course, Councillor Pawley. Thank you.
We're going through these, and we're looking at all of them have got good things about them that we could vote for. So wanting to know, when we're doing these votings for these additional ones, where in some cases we got nothing and now we're saying it's 100 and we're so short, are we still working towards the 1,000 and whatever it is pounds, or are we going to take money out of the capital? I think we need to know that before we put our hands up for saying yes or no, because if it's just going to be the 1,000 whatever, then we're taking it away from these people at the end that we're not discussing now that are really in trouble. So, you know, I seem to feel that these 2 that we've just voted on are not quite so important as the ones we're going to be voting on in private. So can I have clarity on that, please?
Thank you, Councillor Pawley. My plan, and I probably should have said beforehand, would be just that. So when we come to the end of the non-sensitive grants, to vote on whether that money will be in addition to the £1,000 or whether we're prepared to grant more than £1,000 this year in the circumstances. So there will be a choice before that's voted on at the end. All members happy with that?
Yeah, if I'd have known that, I probably would have voted for, but I've not. I didn't, so I've done it now. So,
Councillor Martin Barefoot.
I was just saying I agree.
Okay. Difficult to know. Was Councillor Sue Barefoot just agreeing as well? No, well. Okay, so we're back on the Riverside Network. Any representations on refurbishment of the food bank? I've got 3 hands up. Councillor Cruz.
Sorry, Chair, that was from a previous item.
Oh, no problem. I've lowered it for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I've got a Councillor Martin Barefoot's hand up still and Councillor Pawley's hand up. No, Martin Barefoot's has gone now. Councillor Pawley then. And now he's back.
sorry about this. Well, I would suggest we give these people some money because the state we're in at the moment as a nation, we're going to find lots of people needing help from food banks, I'm afraid. It's terrible to say, but we are. It's going to go up and up. So I would support that rather than supporting first responders or one of the others. But anyway, I would like to suggest £100 for them.
Does that find a seconder? Councillor Wayne?
Yes, I'm with Councillor Pawley on this one. I mean, the food banks are really important, and they're even more important at the current time. The refurbishment of it may make it a more environmentally safe place for people to visit, and also increasing their online awareness will also enable more people to take advantage of it. I think we should be giving them £100, and I will second it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else like to speak on this particular one before I put that to a show of hands? No. Oh, sorry. Hang on. I better just check. No. So if you could all give us a show of hands, please, on whether you think that the food bank should receive a grant of £100 this year. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, that's me as well. I think that's unanimous. Anyone against? No abstentions. Thank you. Item number 9, Darley Dale Preschool, a revamp of their indoor storage for toys and equipment. Anybody have anything to add? No. I think we'll leave that one as it is then. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if Emma would like to note that if they were to get in touch with me as the county councillor, I might be able to find them some money towards their refurbishment. So if you take that down, Emma, and say there is other funding available, and maybe you ought to come and see Councillor Atkin at Derbyshire County Council.
Thank you, Councillor Atkin. Item 10 then. The Matlock and Derbyshire Dale Stand Up to Racism for research and production of a leaflet at the Arkwright Mill and their association with the plantations and southern states of America and slavery. Anybody have anything to add on that one? It's the suggested grant is nothing at the moment. I'm not seeing any hands. I'll check the virtual ones. No, thank you. I'll move on. Grand Pavilion, replacement of the entrance door. Again, suggested grant is 0. Does anybody have anything to add? No hands raised there. Thank you. I'll move on. The Tansley Fatefield Committee to build an extension to house the mower. Is that? That's it. Any representations on that one? Thank you. No, I'll move on. And Starkholmes Girl Guides for the craft activities. I think somebody's trying to raise a hand. That's Councillor Sue Burfield, thank you.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to everyone, I suggest that this has to be a 0 as well. At the same time, could I just repeat what Councillor Atkins said, so that anything in Matlock and Tansley comes to me as county councillor, but I do have to repeat that it has to go out pretty quickly. We've only got till the end of November. So is that something that might be possible for you to do, Emma? Is that a yes?
Yeah, I was going to write to when I responded to all the applicants, and if I felt they were suitable for local projects fund or Better Derbyshire Dales, or the one that you're talking about, then I would suggest that they apply to it. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Burfoot. So that's the items in the distribution list that we can deal with while the public is still engaged. That's the end of the list. What I propose to do now, Karen, can I just ask if you could address the committee on what would the effect be of taking more money from the capital to fund those grants which are higher than the suggested grants on the paperwork?
Okay. So the effect would be that obviously the amount for distribution would be reduced for future years because money can only be used once. The other issue, of course, is you're reducing the amount on which you're earning interest. But interest rates are really low at the moment. That's why your amount has been reduced. And unless you're thinking of giving, thousands extra, it won't make a significant difference to the level of interest, being as we're only getting about 1/4% now.
Okay.
Thank
you for that.
Before we move on to the next section, could I just ask that we confirm the amounts we've approved so far, just to make sure that I've got the same.
Yeah, I will come to that. Does anybody else have any questions about that? Councillor Wayne.
Thank you. It probably says this. How much was the underspend last year, Karen, please?
It was £121, I think.
Right, that's smashing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wayne. Any more questions on that particular point?
I have got my blue hand up.
You have, and I missed it. Councillor Flitter.
It's all right. I know you're not doing it on purpose. Yeah, I'm actually against taking anything out of the capital because, as Karen says, next year we'll have even less in the capital to earn what little interest there is out there. And if we keep doing that on a regular basis, as might come the theme, then we shall be defunct as a group. We'll have no capital to give to local authority, to local groups, and I think we're a much needy organisation for them to come to in times of need. So I shall be voting against taking any monies out of capital.
Thank you, Councillor Flitter. This is I think really there needs to be a motion on the table to do that, because there isn't at the moment. So does anybody propose that the suggested grants that we've increased come out of the capital as opposed to reducing the suggested amounts in items 14 to 20? Councillor Purdy.
Chair, before I can decide upon what Councillor Flitter suggested, and it's a prudent approach, can I have the differential? How much are we talking about taking out the capital? What's the total?
Well, if I was making notes as I went, but I might have missed something. As I understand it, we've just got £250, unless that somebody's going to correct me.
I thought that you'd approved £150 for Bonsall Village Hall, £100 for Matlock.
Sorry, you're quite right. 350, yeah.
Yeah, 100 for Riverside Network.
So that's £350. Councillor Pawley, I think you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Well, I will propose it because I think if we're going to take, we should not be taking any money away from the section that we're going to consider in a minute. So if we're going to pay extra, we need to take it out of the capital and not from that section. I will propose it.
Councillor Wayne, were you looking to propose it or did you have a comment?
I do have a comment, if that's okay.
Of
course, it's £350, but we've saved 2 lots of 50. So, in fact, it's £250. And if we were to utilise the little bit of money left over from last year, it isn't going to, the differential isn't going to be that high. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wayne. Does Councillor Pawley's proposal find a seconder, please? Sorry, Councillor Atkin. Are you seconding?
Yes, Chair, I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the extra amounts in items 1 to 13 come out of the capital. All those in favour of that, if you'd show your hand on screen, please. Councillor Atkin, are you showing your hand? Because all I can see is a bridge.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
Thank you. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, could you put them back up again, please? 3, 4, 5. Thanks. Thank you. And all those against, please. Thank you. Any abstentions in case I've missed anything? I think that's just 1 against, so that's carried. Thank you. So now that we've agreed that, I'll look for guidance, but do we need to vote also on that we're giving the suggested grants with those amendments? Or does the clerk think that we are covered in what we voted on?
I think, Chair, we just now need to agree. Effectively, there's a substantive motion, I think. So that's a vote on all the grants as a whole.
Right. So that's
we'll do that by a recorded vote, I think.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. So we'll have a recorded vote from 1 to 13 with the amendments that we now know about to the tune of £350 from the capital. When your name's called out, please, if you could say if you were for or against or you abstain. Thank you.
Councillor Atkin?
Against.
Councillor Sue Burford?
For.
Councillor Martin Burford?
For.
Councillor Cruz?
For.
Councillor Flitter?
For.
Councillor Pawley?
For.
Councillor Purdy?
For.
Councillor Salt?
For.
Councillor Statham?
For.
Councillor Swindle?
I don't think Councillor Swindle's here.
Nope, sorry, I've gone on. Councillor Wayne?
For.
Chair, that's 9 for and 1 against.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members. So at this point, I'll make the declaration that we are now going to exclude the public and press from the meeting to deal with items of business which involve sensitive material. I'll just give you some time to stop the recording.
Chair, we just need that moving and seconding and then a show of hands on the resolution.
I'll move it, Chair.
Thank you. Have a seconder for that, please. Councillor Wayne. Thank you. A show of hands, please. Those in favour to exclude for the remainder.
Right, thank you. That's carried, Chair. I'll stop the stream now.
Thank you.
And that's it. We're